Hello students, I, Ms. Pooja Kalange, Assistant Professor IICMR MCA, welcome you to this refresher course for the subject Big Data Analytics. So let's see what we are going to cover in this our course. So let's see what is the agenda for today. So today we'll be basically covering what are the measurement units of the data, which is a prerequisite which we require before we start the big data analytics. Then we'll be covering what are the basic concepts of NoSQL. Then what are the properties of NoSQL, that is the non-structured SQL, or you can see as not only SQL. Then we'll be seeing what are the NoSQL types, and then we'll be seeing the basic difference between RDBMS and NoSQL. So let's start. The basic thing whenever we start with big data, it's about all about the data, right? So we need to know what are the basic measurement units of the data. So the basic data unit is a bit, which is a binary representation for a particular digit in the form of 0 or 1. Then we have is nibble. Nibble is a representation of data in 4 bits. And then comes the well-known or the widely used data unit, that is byte. And byte stands for 8 bits. Then comes is the 1 kilobyte, which is nothing but 1024 bytes. So we will see what is the hierarchy of the measurement units of the data and what is the largest unit of data which is available till now. So as you can see here, this table shows you the name, the abbreviation and the size. So this all size is given in the power of 2, because you know that we give the representation of bits in the power of 2. So 2 raised to 0, 2 raised to 1, 2 raised to 2, 2 raised to 3, right? So this is the kilo, okay, which is a basic kilobyte, which is 2 raised to 10, that is 1024 bytes. Then comes is the megabyte. Megabyte is 2 raised to 20. You can see the number which is written here, 1048576. Okay, then we have the gigabytes, which is nothing but 2 raised to 30. The representation in numbers, you can see it is a very big representation. Then comes is the terabytes, which is 2 raised to 40. Then comes is the petabytes, okay, that is 2 raised to 50. Then we have is the exabyte, that is 2 raised to 60. Then we have zettabytes, which is the largest unit, that is 2 raised to 70. And we have the largest unit, that is the yottabytes, that is 2 raised to 80, which almost equals to 1208 925 8199 614 629 174 706 176 bytes. Okay, so this is the largest representation. You can say it is said to be yottabyte. Yeah, there is also some representation coming into picture, but still it is not being proved that it is the correct one. So this is the yottabytes, okay, which is the largest representation for the unit of data. Moving on to the next part. Before we move on to the basic big data, we need to understand what are the concepts of relational DBMS, okay? Because we need to study what are the base properties which are available in the NoSQL. So before going to that, we need to know what are the ACID properties in DBMS. You already know the chord rules, and now this is one of the important property, that is the ACID properties in the DBMS, okay? So basically we know that A stands for atomicity, C stands for consistency, I stands for isolation, and D stands for durability. So you know what are the acid properties very well. So just to take a quick recap of what are the acid properties, since we are in the refresher course, we are just refreshing and brushing up the previous concepts. So atomicity means that entire transaction takes place at one time or it doesn't happen at all. It means that the entire transaction will be either present in the commit state, and if the transaction is not committed, the transaction will be aborted. So that will preserve the atomicity of the transaction. It will be a total update or it will be a total abort. So it is said to be atomic. Second comes is the consistency property. Consistency stands for the database must be consistent before and after the transaction. Since if you have done any update on your database, there has been some insertion, there has been deletion, the data should represent or reflect in the way the operations are being performed on the database. Okay, so that is said to be the consistency. Next, we have the isolation. Now, what is isolation? Isolation stands for multiple transactions occur independently without each other's interference. This means that a particular transaction means, for example, if you are at an ATM machine, you're trying to withdraw the money, there are multiple people who are trying to withdraw money from the same ATM machine, maybe, or from the same bank ATM machine which is located at various places. So you're not knowing that how many transactions are taking place at the same time when you're doing some transactions, right? So that means that multiple transactions occur independently without each other's interference. Okay. Then we have is the durability. Durability means that it gives the information about the reliability or the persistence of the data in the database. It means that the changes of a successful transactions occur even if the system failure occurs. So even if there is a system failure, whatever the transactions are being done, they will remain persistent across the database. So that is said to be the durability. So these are some basic concepts of acid properties which we need to refresh or we need to brush up before we move on to the NoSQL part. So now let's see what is NoSQL. Okay. So NoSQL stands for not only SQL, which means a non-relational database. Till now we have studied RDBMS, which is structured database, which is having a representation of rows and columns. So you have rows as tuples, columns as attributes, and then you use a SQL, which is structured query language, to get the data from the database and to interpret the results. So in the same way, we have NoSQL, which is a database which is built with an application, but it does not have a predefined schema. So it doesn't have any schema, and that's why NoSQL databases are used to handle the unstructured data. So for example, we have unstructured data like text, we have social media posts, we have video, we have email. So NoSQL databases are open source. MongoDB, Couch, Cassandra, HBase are some examples of the NoSQL database, which we will be seeing in detail in our capsule program. Then NoSQL systems do provide low latency access and accommodate many concurrent users. So this is about the what are the basic features. It has low latency and it can have many concurrent users, and this can be used in applications where there is no any specific structure present for the data. So it could be an XML files, it could be JSON files, or any type of files which are semi-structured and unstructured. NoSQL can be a better application to this. So let's see more in detail. Okay, now let's, before we move on, we need to understand what are the NoSQL base properties. Okay, basically NoSQL works on the distributed data system. Okay, where the data is being distributed, there are multiple replicas present across the applications. So for that, we need to understand the CAP theorem, which was present in the distributed database. In this, we had was the consistency, availability. Okay, and partition tolerance. Okay, so this depends. So these NoSQL properties are based on the CAP theorem, which you have already covered in the distributed databases of your advanced database topic. Okay, so moving ahead with that, first we will see what is basic availability. The basic availability means that the database appears to work most of the time, and the database is available whenever you're asking for the database. So that gives the, or it satisfies the first property you can say about the of the CAP theorem, that is availability. Okay, so the database appears to work most of the time, even if it is being failed or it is there has been some mishap in that, then also it will be available to you at any time. Okay, then is soft state. Okay, this soft state is present with the partition tolerance feature, which is present in the CAP theorem, which says that stores don't have to be write consistent, not do the different replicas have to be mutually consistent all the time. Means what? Here the consistency is being taken as a soft parameter. The different replicas will not have the consistent state right now. There will be a consistent state which will be created after some period of time. So that is said to be eventually consistent. Okay. So that is said to be the soft state which is present in the NoSQL base property. Then we have is the eventual consistency, which is the C stand for the CAP theorem C, that is consistency. It exhibits consistency at some later point. As I told you, consistency will be there, but it will be present after some later point of time. Okay. So that is said to be the eventual consistency. So these are the NoSQL based properties which we need to understand: the basic availability, the soft state, and the eventual consistency. These base properties, I repeat, are being based on the CAP theorem, which is already being studied in the distributed database, where C stands for consistency, A stands for availability, and P stands for partition tolerance. Okay. Next, as I said regarding the distributed databases, we need to understand what is a two-phase commit. So two-phase commit protocol is used in distributed databases. We have already studied this in distributed database systems, but we will have just a quick recap on what is in the two-phase protocol. So you know that in two-phase protocol, we have a coordinator and we have a participant. Okay. So here these are the acknowledgement status or the messages which will be taking place, message communication which will be taking place in this. Since this is a two-phase commit protocol, so let us see what is in this two-phase commit. Okay. So first what happens is the coordinator will ask the you can see the participant whether it is ready to commit or not. Okay. If it gives it yes, then it will send an acknowledgement and the participant's transaction will be committed by the coordinator. One more case in this case is if the coordinator is waiting to commit, there are some other processes which are busy. They will ask for votes. Whenever they get the maximum votes, at that time the transaction will be committed. After this commit status has been given to the participant, the coordinator will again ask, is it a final commit that we need to do commits, or do commit messages being passed to the participant? And after it has given a final commit message, the done or the commit final commit is being done on the database. This two-phase commit can be in the commit as well, or it can be in the terms of abort as well. If there is a message to abort the transaction, so there can be an abort message being sent at this place. Okay. So this was the basic two-phase commit. What are the advantages? What are the disadvantages? We've already studied this in distributed database. So I'll not go much deeper into this. So you know a basic two-phase commit. We have a prepare phase and then we have a commit phase, right? Now we will see the most important part. What are the NoSQL types? Okay. So as I told you, NoSQL stands for the non-relational or the NoSQL database. As I told you, SQL database is relational. Okay. It is OLAP is also one of the relational database. We have already studied this in data warehousing and data mining. So now we will see the NoSQL database types. There are basically four types of NoSQL. We have column family, then we have graph, then we have document, and then we have the key value pair. Okay, so let us see these types one by one. Okay, so the first we will see is in this we have the first column family. So I'll explain first column database. This database is capable of storing and processing large amount of data. Okay, using a pointer that points to many columns. Okay, and these are distributed over the cluster. If you see this, here we have some multiple pointers which are present, which are used in clusters, and this will point out to a large value of database. One good example of this column family database is HBase. Okay. Next we have is the graph database. Okay. So what is graph database? Instead of traditional rows and columns, the database is represented in the form of nodes and edges. Okay. So you know a graph database, a basic example of this is Facebook, which you already know this, right? So that is the graph database. Then we have is the key column database. In this document database, this database may contain many key value pairs, okay, which may be present at nested level. This actually efficiently handles the semi-structured database. So that's why efficient querying is possible with this database. The documents are stored in the JSON format, which is semi-structured, and Mongo database is one example of this document database. Then we have is the column database, as you can see here. Okay, so this is the column wise database key value pair. Okay, so the key value database is the simplest form of NoSQL database where each value is associated with the unique key. Okay, so that is the Redis database. So we have a key value database, we have a column database, then we have the document database, and then we have the graph database. Okay, so these are the four NoSQL types. They are me asked in the exams as well. What are the types of NoSQL and explain the basic NoSQL. So you need to remember these four types: column family, graph, document, and key value pair. Now moving further, we will be seeing these types. Now you can see here, these are the document database, Couchbase, MongoDB, MarkLogic, these are the document database. Graph database is Neo4j Infinite Graph. Then we have wide column stores, which is Redis. We have Amazon DynamoDB, Gaia, and these are the key value databases which are very important. As I told you, Hypertable, Cassandra, HBase, Amazon SimpleDB, and Accumulo. So these are some real-time examples or the real-time, you can say the applications of the different types of NoSQL. Okay. Moving further, we will see what is difference between RDBMS and NoSQL. This is one of the important thing which is being asked. in the exams as well. So as you know that RDBMS is a structured and organized data, as I already told you, but NoSQL has no any predefined schema, so that's why it is non-declarative query language. Okay. RDBMS has SQL, which is being used for operation, that is structured query language. Now, since there is no any predefined schema for NoSQL, there is no such query language which is being used in terms of NoSQL. Then we have the data and its relationships in RDBMS are stored in the form of separate tables as a key value, the column and row pair. But in case of the NoSQL, there is a four types as I told you: key value pair storage, column store storage, we have document store, and we have graph databases. Okay. Here in the RDBMS, we use data manipulation language, data definition language, but no any concept is being used in the relational databases. We have the ACID properties which are present in the RDBMS, but here we have the eventual consistency or the base properties in the NoSQL. Then these are the unstructured and unpredictable data in NoSQL. Okay, so as you know, RDBMS has the structured data. This NoSQL follows a CAP theorem. Okay. Here you know it follows acid properties. Okay, acid properties are used. That's why there's a tight consistency existing between the databases. And here this is a base transaction. Like whatever the transactions take place, these all are base transactions. Either it will be a commit transaction or either it will be a bot transaction. But in case of NoSQL, the properties are prioritizing high performance, high availability, and high scalability. So these are some basic difference between the RDBMS and NoSQL. So just to give a quick recap of what we have covered in the refresher course, we have studied what are the basic measurement units which are present in the data, what are the different data present in that. Then we have covered what are the acid properties. Then we have seen what is basic NoSQL, then what are the NoSQL types, what are the base properties in NoSQL, okay, and after that, what are the examples of these different types of NoSQL, and what is the difference between RDBMS and NoSQL. So I hope you are clear with these different types of NoSQL and whatever the properties which we have explained here regarding the two-phase commit. You can just go more into details by self-studying yourself. So I thank you for watching this video. Thank you very much.